Dear all, so today we will learn about the vaccine. So what is vaccine? Many times you heard that vaccine, we have taken the vaccine and we are vaccinated now, and the body is vaccinated so that if any virus or infection will come, so we can have the ability to fight against it. So today in this video we will learn about what is actually vaccine is, and how it is developed and how it acts on our body, and why it is much more required for any kind of the viral infection to develop a vaccine so that we can get long term immunity for that. So we will learn those things. The vaccines are basically a kind of the suspensions or the solution which is given to our body to produce the immune response against any kind of the disease, like the COVID-19 vaccine given to produce the increase the immunity response against that kind of the viral infection, and it generally produces the antibody against this kind of the viral antigen. And the different type of vaccines are given in different forms, like the inactivated virus or the live attenuated virus, or you can say the mRNA therapeutics or the spike protein against antigen antibody responses. So this is a kind of the antigenic solution which is given in response to the immunity, so that the antibody being produced and then inactive or the reduce the rate of the multiplication of the viral particles inside our body. So we will learn much more about this vaccine today. What is vaccine? What kind of vaccine? How this work in our body? What is the function of it, and why it is required, and how much it is important to the society and welfare. In immunology or immunochemistry or something in a study, we will learn that any foreign particle which is coming inside our body act as antigen, and our body, our immune system, it's recognize it as an antigen or foreign particle and produces the antibody against that antigen. So this is antigen antibody interaction or the lock and key mechanism, so that that antigen cannot bind or cannot act, because it is now added with the and bind with the antibody, so that antigen antibody interaction stop the action of the antigen, so that our immune system helps to survive and helps to inactivate those foreign particles. So what happens when a virus or a particle comes in our body? It acts as a foreign particle. It is coming inside our body, and our body start producing immunity against it. For example, COVID-19 virus. So firstly, if we want to develop a vaccine or something, vaccine is a kind of the inactivated form or the attenuated form or the like the spike protein antigen like structures or something that has the antigenic properties. These kind of the not the actual virus which is going to multiplicate in our body, but act like an infection agent or antigen. When it comes in our body start producing a responding our immunity response, and then producing antibody against it. It's not producing or killing or any harm much more to our body, but our antibody is being produced against it, and there is kind of the memory cells or memory is generated for the production of these antibody when the actual virus come. So it is a kind of the inactivated to that virus which is given, or we know that the target sites now antibody is already over there. When the actual infection came in our body, actual COVID-19 virus or some virus came, we are already vaccinated by this, and antibody are already there for primary antibody, or you can say the immunity we already knows about it. So what happened when the actual virus came? So the rate of the production of the antibody, what kind of antibody required to produce by the cells, it start producing over it. That's why the role of the vaccine came, and these kind of the vaccines are different type for different type of the infections, viral infections. And once we have the immunity for one kind of thing, and it has a memory, and when directly there is a rate to the infection is high, we can directly combat it, and then we can be survived by this method. So this is a kind of the indirect method. We are not taking any kind of the antibiotic drug or something, antiviral drug or something directly to kill that, but our body is producing some kind of the antibodies. Our body is producing this kind of the fighting agents so that we can kill or stop the activity of the foreign particle coming inside our body. So like this, vaccines having the major play role in the whole society, and sometimes the viral infections cannot be completely removed. It just have been suppressed, and when again these kind of the seasonal things or some cold cough or something will come, and then again we got this kind of the virus, because virus are basically a kind of the not the living, not the dead organism. So these are basically intermediately in between, so that when it is becomes suppressed, and when the actual condition came, it again start developing, multiplying like this. So most of the times we required one dose of vaccine, then second dose of vaccine, sometimes booster vaccine, so that we can gain the much more immunity and ability to fight against these kind of the virus, and have the much more amount of the antibody production rates for that. And this is actually about the what is known as the vaccine and how it works in our body. So there are many production areas, institutes, and the research facilities are working on these kind of the viruses to work against product development of vaccines. And we can say that India is the largest producer of the vaccine. Whenever the vaccine is developed, it is being given to for the large mass production of it in the vaccine, and then we will produce it a very large scale and export it to the whole world. And this is a kind of the scenario. Many government bodies like or other institutes like Serum Institute of India, Bharat Biotech, and many other vaccine production plants are there, those producing a large amount of the manufacturing facility for the vaccines, and then can fulfill the whole requirement for the human body, and also for the many population, many country requirements we can fulfill by these manufacturing plants.